Hi, I'm Mandy Fisher, and you're listening to another VO podcast.
Hello, and welcome to another VO podcast.
Don't do that.
This is gross.
If you feel like a grape and you only have raisins,
Don't do that.
you have two nostrils.
This wins
All
the
right.
most disgusting episode so far.
It's something that I still do, and I still do it and love it.
Don't do that.
Look, awards are great. Some are obviously more prestigious than others.
This month, coming up right here on this podcast.
Speaking of things that you may not want to know,
Come sit in somebody's lap.
Don't do that.
People know I hire talent sometimes, so I get 500 business cards at the conference too. Guess what? They stay in the room when I leave.
They wanted a British accent.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
And I don't have any samples with a British accent. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another VO podcast.
what up? What up? Welcome back to another VO podcast. Did I say another VO podcast?
No.
Wow. What did I say?
What other podcast do you have, Jake, that we don't know about?
I think
Welcome
you're
back
going to
to
say
it.
welcome back to VO Atlanta. I'm pretty sure.
I think I did. I was about to say that. Well, welcome back to another VO podcast, and I'm here today with Troy and Charles. Alden is a little under the weather, and he has given us his blessing to go ahead and do today's episode without him. So, Alden, first of all, we miss you, buddy, and I hope you get better soon.
Yeah, get the feeling better. It
Yeah.
sucks to be sick when you do this for a living.
Exactly. Yeah, you got to be ready to go. And if you're sick and you're not feeling like you could stand up in the booth, or maybe your voice is down and you can't talk very well, I don't know exactly what he's got going on, but it would just be awful because you obviously need to work. But speaking of VO Atlanta, we are fresh back from VO Atlanta. I did not go myself, but Charles and Troy did, which is why we wanted to get on here and talk about it. So we can hear their insights and some of their takeaways from the conference. I mean, I know we've talked about conferences before, but you never know what you're going to get when you go to a conference. So I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say. And
Yeah, you never
Boy,
know what
that's
you're
a
going to
stretch,
get.
isn't it, Charles? You never know what you're going to get.
You
Maybe
never
a
know what you're
pop
going to get.
right. So tell me, I mean, did you guys have a great time?
Oh, yeah. I
it
had a
was
great time. This time around was, again, a little bit different than the last two times.
Yes.
Just because we're at different points than, where we were the first year, the second year, and this year.
Yeah.
And so your strategy is a little bit different. I think you should go to a voiceover conference with a strategy because if not, the conference will take over. The people will take over. Your time will disappear, and next thing you know, you blink your eyes and it's already time to leave. And you're like,
Right.
What just happened?
They do seem like they
so-
blew by so fast. I see, it's even not going, but just like getting your update, like at the airport. And the next thing I know, I'm looking on Facebook and it's like leaving VO Atlanta. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't even there.
And I went a day later, too, this time. I went on Wednesday last year, which was crazy, and didn't get there till Thursday afternoon this time, and it made a difference.
I think I'm going to go. I think I'm going to go one day early next year, just because the people that I ran into that were like, "Yeah, we came in yesterday." They just seemed like they were more
at ease.
They got all their stuff in their room. They've already kind of met some people, and they've already gone to dinner the night before, and this and that. And
you and I were rushed. It seemed like the whole time, didn't it?
Yeah.
Really
and then also
rushed.
getting there and then not having my luggage arrive. So my luggage got lost or they
that's
delayed
right.
it or
I
whatever.
forgot that had happened.
Yeah. So
and
so
then being assaulted the first night. I mean,
it's so now that I'm there the day of, the stuff's going to happen in the early evening, and I arrive there in the afternoon. I don't have my luggage. I'm waiting for, them to message me back to say, hey, we found it, or, whatever, come pick it up, or we're going to deliver it. And then, going to the first little dinner party thing and I'm just in like tennis shoes and shorts and, looking fresh,
You feel a little
and
underdressed?
and holding all my stuff, like my backpack and my CPAP, and like really I'm going to walk around with this stuff in my hand. So I think next year I'm going to just go a day early and just kind of relax, get all my stuff settled, and then just
It's probably a good idea.
Yeah, go into it a little bit.
I like what you're talking about the difference. And one of the things I noticed this year was the first year I wanted to learn and get around as much as I could. I went to I think 4 X sessions, maybe 3 or 4
This year?
And no, the first year.
Oh, okay.
Last year I went to 2. This year I went to 1. And what you'll find out is every year when you go, you thought, I already know about that. I already know about this. And so it becomes a little harder to pick things out. So I really went after business stuff for the short stuff, a SEO thing, or I went to something that someone was teaching that I've never heard them speak before. Maybe I missed them the first few years. This was the first time I got to in person watch Tina Marasco do a class. I got to see, I went to more panels and listened to discussions more and wanted to be involved with that. And I think as we learn and grow, what we go there to do changes. We go there to socialize more, to interact more, and, fit in more. And that was my thing this year. I felt like I wasn't nearly as out of place as I was, especially the first year. Last year was a little better. This year was a lot better.
Did you keep getting recognized this year?
A little bit, a few times, and it was usually people.
He responds like it puts him out.
I know, he's like, yeah,
Well, they would look
I'll
at
sign
you
an autographs
like,
and stuff. It's cool.
They see you on YouTube or on
tomorrow.
Facebook, and they can see your glasses and you're bald headed. Well, there are about 3 other people that we all somewhat resemble. And I'm not saying that Marco Regazio, I may say his last name wrong. At a distance, we're about the same age, same head shape.
JMC got y'all mixed up last year, right?
JMC got us mixed up last year. All right. Well, then today I was looking at the picture of Charles and myself and Ryder. Ryder and I wear the same glasses. We're both bald. Nobody's going to mistake me for him, but at a distance. And then we see this guy that we swear is Mike
Hathcote. Yeah.
Dude. Okay,
he's
that
got
picture.
Mike's new glasses and everything, and
Dude,
I'm going, Mike, Mike, and the guy won't turn around. I'm like, boy, I didn't know Mike was such a jerk.
You don't remember when we had him on the podcast?
Mike.
He wouldn't answer anything.
Yeah, and Troy posted a picture of him today, and it was kind of at a distance, and he looks a little older in that picture, but
heavier.
Hey, man, when I saw him standing up in the full light of the main kind of auditorium area, like I thought it was Mike also, and I walked up, and then about 5 feet away, I was like, wait,
exactly,
that's not. Is that? No, that's not Mike.
But he passed me so fast I couldn't discern. So
that's hilarious.
Crazy.
That is so
funny.
It's
crazy. Yeah. But I did have people come up and say, appreciate your podcast. I've learned a lot from it. And that is flattering as heck, but I am the world's worst to accept compliments like that because I just feel like I'm just doing it to help, and we were talking before we went on, there were a couple people I sat and talked with at length, and they were just like, thanking you for all you do and all this. And I'm like, I'm not doing anything. I'm just sharing what I've been through. And I'm glad it's a help to people.
Yeah, that's a big load.
Always glad to help new talent. I mean, it's fun to help new people. It is.
Sure.
It is. And so I was talking to my wife last night, and I was like, I felt bad a little bit this year because, like my trajectory is different than it was before. My focus was different than it was before. And normally, I talk to everybody. If there's somebody standing alone, I'm like, come on in, just step over here into the group. And this time I was kind of like following my own agenda and track. So there was a little bit less of that this time. And I felt like I missed out on helping people or talking to people or encouraging people that are new. That's
not your responsibility,
I like to do.
Though.
Yeah, I know. No, I totally get it, and it isn't my responsibility. But it's just me.
Heart.
It's just my heart. It's just
your heart
me.
Wants to do it.
Yeah.
And you even mentioned, Charles, and I think it's probably a fantastic idea. And Jake's already done this of volunteering. That way, you're hanging at the desk or hanging at doors, and you can answer questions, and people know. They're starting, like you said, your trajectory is there and people are starting to recognize that. And, people will come to you and ask questions. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. That's a really good idea.
Yeah. I really
so
hope
now I'm like, should I buy the super early bird
voice.
or should I wait for it? No.
It's up
But
to you.
it's here. It's already here. The super early bird's out for One Voice and for VO Atlanta.
And isn't it what $800 range for both?
Yeah,
Maybe?
it's less than $800 for both of them, which is
Not
pretty
bad.
darn good.
You can buy that like on the same website.
It's
a package.
they're together. It's an early bird package.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
that's cool. I mean, write it off.
Yeah. I think that, for me this year, I now have a couple agents. And that wasn't the case last year. And so it was nice to go to the agents' little get together parties and hang out with people that are there and a little more face-to-face stuff. And so that was really awesome.
That was the 1 hour I felt disconnected. Isn't that odd?
Really?
I felt a little disconnected because I was brand new to that group, and luckily Jeff Williams was there, and of course he kept me highly entertained.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he kept me highly entertained. And he stayed with me at the table and got other people to come over, and it was, I guess I felt that way because I didn't really know anybody yet. I hadn't talked to them on the phone much. I haven't done auditions for them yet. I don't have a connection yet. So I felt a little bit out of place there. So I was, sadly, I was glad to get back to the hotel and see all the other people, but still, it was still great. It was a really nice gathering they had. It was well done. And everything that went on down there. Last year, we saw the uptick with Anna taking over. And then this year we saw like they're going to make it even a little better. And I noticed JMC had commented, people were saying about a bigger venue and this and that. And he said, no, it'll be there again next year until they just know they have burst the walls out. They're not going to move it. And I didn't feel like it was overcrowded. It was crowded, but I didn't feel like the facility. But I think what people were saying is we want to stay there.
Yeah,
and
that
not
was
be
what they were
pushed
saying.
out.
Yeah.
Well, that would come down to booking another couple of floors. There's 17 floors of rooms in there.
Wow.
I don't know how many they had booked. We were on the very top one, so we know we were last on the booking list, I guess, because John Scoveman was staying on the third floor. And I'm like, well, I don't know.
You could tell you could tell who booked early.
Yeah. So, but still, I think the facility's fantastic. They do a really good job. They, might be a little short staffed in the bar and restaurant at times, but I don't see how they can predict it because you've also got an open bar going on over in the area where they're having karaoke or they're having the wig party or whatever's going on. And
did you guys go to that?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, yeah, I went over there and hung out a little. We didn't wear wigs, but
I saw JMC's with his
Charles
wig.
ended
That
up
was
in
wild.
one.
I ended up in a wig. But the crazy part is, so the crazy part is about that wig. So how awesome are VO people, right?
Pretty cool.
I can't remember her name. Oh, to save the life of me. But she had extra wigs. They were like in little packages, and she had like 3 extra ones. She's like, yeah, I just brought some just in case somebody didn't have one. Yeah. And I was like, dude, that's awesome. So she gave me one. It's like that metallic plastic looking, material.
Yeah.
And I got back up to the room. I'm like, I think I'm gonna have an allergic reaction to this plastic or something. And it was actually the dye from the pink that was like, making.
Oh my gosh! Speaking of that, kudos to Mark Ryder for making that trip.
Oh yeah, I saw what's going on. That's
and I really have been. I got worried about that last night. He had posted some pictures, and I got worried about it. And it dawned on me that my sister-in-law had something called alpha gal. And what that is, you pick it up through a tick bite, but it actually comes from meat. Oh. And I don't know how it goes from the meat to the tick. I guess the tick bites something else, some other animal. Humans don't normally carry it. It's not super rare, but all his symptoms tied into that. And I shot him a thing last night and I said, man, get blood tested for this. Maybe, because it took them a year to figure it out on her. And then once they knew what to test for, they were able to clear it up pretty quick. Yeah. But man, I know he's suffering with that.
Yeah, he was, he's a champ, dude, for coming down because he still ended up coming later because he was in the doctor that morning before he showed up. Because Troy and I were like kind of the first people to see him when he came in. And he's like, he's just kind of telling us. And he's like, I'm on a bunch of medication. And then we're in his session later.
I'm not laughing at that part. I'm laughing at when I told him the story, and he's like, "Why are you lying to me? Why are you making crap up?" And I'm like, "No, man, this really happened last night." And then he calls Charles over. So,
well, let's close with that story. we'll close the episode with that story.
We will. We'll get to that. If you are sitting on the edge of your seat wondering what the crap happened Thursday night, wait just another couple of minutes.
Yeah, wait just another couple minutes. We'll tell you.
Yes, this is a very interesting.
It's a very interesting. It is the most interesting way I've ever been awoken in a hotel room. Let's just say that.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so Oh, go ahead. Oh, no, anyway. Okay, fine. So, all right. For each of you, what was the like? Each of you, give me your highlight. Like, what's the main thing you're taking away? What's the main thing? What's the best thing that you got out of this go around to the conference?
Wow.
I would say for me, it's solidifying connections. While also making new ones, but solidifying other connections and relationships.
Yeah.
And
I like that.
I would say the other thing was the drive that I now have. Once I had a deeper conversation and deeper relationship and solidification with certain people, that, man, I'm gonna do this. Like, I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there. Like,
hell or high water. You a bottle of confidence.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. Like, it's like, okay, like I'm gonna be there, man. I'm gonna do it. And so it's just that extra little.
All about your friends too. So
you guys,
no, you won't.
You guys always.
I took care of that. Never gonna forget. He'll never forget us. I promise.
Well, that's true. Yeah. Anyway.
I think my takeaway, I had a couple, and I agree with what you're saying. Taking something from speaking to someone and kind of, having a message with them here and there on Facebook to sitting down at the table and talking to them for an hour. There's a big difference in where you get to know somebody. One thing that happened for me that helped me a lot is I've coached with some great people, and I've said this on the podcast all along. You have to build your method. You can go to 6 coaches or 3 coaches or 2 or whatever, and you have to build a method. And I saw some things come together that Mark Ryder had taught me, that I had learned from Mary Lynn Wisner, that I'd learned even going back to, JJ and other people, and having Tina Morosco's videos. Some things got tied together by going to an X session this year, that the way it was put across, it hit me where I got it. And I was close before, but man, I really got it when this was taught. And that was huge for me. And the other thing was just like you said, the solidifying connections and feeling like, and I don't mean to say this for it to sound crass or anything, but I felt like I belonged this year. I never felt that before. I felt like I was a spectator. I was on the outside. This year, I don't feel like I'm like right in the middle of the inside circle. No, but I feel like I am climbing and getting there a little bit at a time. And I didn't feel as much of an outcast this year, or an observer. I felt like more a participant, and that makes you feel good. And I'm the same way. I came home with more confidence in what I'm doing, and that's the idea.
On a good to use y'all's words, trajectory. You guys have both made great leaps and bounds in the last year alone. I mean, even the last couple of days. I mean, with your newest agent there, Troy. I mean, like, you guys, and again, I mean, Troy, you've been putting yourself out there. I mean, like, I stumbled upon you before you knew who I was. You know what I mean? Like, I knew who you were before you knew who I was. So, and I know you guys know each other based on like classes or whatever, or people you learned
we started
from,
together. We started together. Yeah.
Started together. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, like, it's people know who you are. And so people are actually, you probably feel like you're not being observed, but people see you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it's not surprising to me to hear
yesterday was a wake-up
call. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday was a touch of a wake-up call, because in this audition, I was told, we've looked at your TikTok, we've looked at your Facebook, we've looked at your website, we've done this, done that. And I'm like, and that, in a way, that can be a little scary, because I'm like some people. I got some silly TikToks out there. They're not terrible, but there's some. But it shows you as a real person and your personality. And I think they appreciated that. They knew when we got on the phone that I had horses, had several of them. They knew I had dogs. The other girl on the call also had dogs. We had that connection, and it's just funny how when they go out and take a look at you, how much they can really see. And they hopefully, what I was hoping they saw was he does give back to the VO community. It matters to him. And that seemed to have helped. And plus, it doesn't hurt that they have no hillbillies on their roster at all. So.
Yeah, you got something on your side already.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like your favorite pair of jeans. Just feel good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so tell me about some of the meetups you went to. I know Brad had one. Did you guys get to make it to that one?
Yeah. I made it to Brad's.
You didn't make it to Brad's?
I did not. I was in an X session and it let out right before Brad's ended, and then I had to go to Celia's thing. So there was just like I had to hot step it and get over there.
Yeah, okay, well, that makes sense. Did you at least get to talk to Brad?
I did.
Okay, good deal. Yeah, I got to go to Brad's thing at Dallas, and when he came to One Voice, and that was just really cool. Really cool to meet people who've coached with him, other people who've coached with him and whatnot. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. And he was on a coach's panel. I went to that and listened to him.
I bet that was great.
He was on another one too. I can't remember what the other one was, but he was on.
Brad had. I can't remember. I'm so bad with names. He has an awesome beard and he's a magician.
Brad,
you know what I'm talking about?
I know the guy, and I'm with you.
And he always has suspenders.
Yep.
Yeah, that guy. Yep. Yeah. He Brad had him there doing card tricks and like sleight of hand stuff.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it was so cool because I've never had it done in front of me before. Like by a magician, by somebody right in front. I've always seen like videos and stuff like that. And so I'm like, so I see the videos and, I know how they do it. But when they're good enough to where you know how they do it, but you don't see them do it, it's like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yep.
And I was blown away by his first.
Is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I was blown away by his first card trick because it was like, I know a couple of card tricks and he did this one. And I don't know how he had set it up before he even got to me, but it was literally pick one card out of the deck, think of it. Okay. And then he just showed it. I was like, what? Like, how? There's no way. Anyway, it blew my mind. And I was like, okay, this is awesome. I love magic.
I don't want to forget Tom Antonellis. This was my first time to meet Tom face to face. What a great guy. And a lot of people think of Tom just dialect stuff. Tom is a great coach all the way around, very reasonably priced. He can help you on a lot of stuff, and he's just a super, super person.
Yeah. When you think of good people, Tom's good people.
Yeah.
Tom's good people for sure.
Tom is very good people.
Yeah. The other one, so after Brad's, Jeff, Troy, and I went to Celia Siegel's for the VO Chateau group at what was it called? The Paper Plate or the Paper Plane? Yeah, Paper Plane.
Oh, that's cool.
And she rented out the whole upstairs. And so we went up there and hung out up there. And that was
raining, cats and dogs.
Yeah, it was raining. It was raining big time. I mean, the rain was like coming sideways.
Yeah.
So, but it was great upstairs because it was supposed to be outside. She had reserved the whole outside patio, but then she's like, "Yeah, we're moving upstairs."
And thank you, Jeff, for the Uber ride.
Yeah. And Jeff, we Troy and I determined that he looks like
Randy Quaid.
Randy Quaid.
Oh, I could see that. I could see that. Probably a lot nicer than Randy.
Slight resemblance.
Yeah. I mean, he's got the dimples and the chin, and
he's about Jake's height. He's 6'4".
Yeah, he's tall.
He's taller than me.
Yeah,
yeah.
So that was good. Yeah. I went and went to Portia's little gathering.
Yeah,
and that was great to meet other people that were there from CTC and just hang out with them, talk with Portia.
Was Sarah Tyndall there? She was our first podcast guest, and I don't know if she went to the conference or not. Okay, but she's with CTC.
I don't remember seeing her there.
Okay.
Well, here's the crazy part. Like, there's some people that were there the whole time, and I just realized they were there.
Didn't see 'em.
Yeah, or we just never saw him. Like Jim Frank. Like he was there the whole time, and he was like,
I spoke to him. That was it.
I didn't even get to say hi to the guy.
Bridget Rial. I missed her.
Yeah,
I was determined to meet her, and I saw her a couple times. But my deal is, if they're talking to somebody, I just don't walk up and interrupt. And then if I'm standing at a distance and I'm waiting for them to separate, and all of a sudden they're like, "Phew," they're gone. I'm like, crap, where'd they go?
I'm going to tell you something right now. You kind of have to do that. You don't have to interrupt, but you can at least get their attention. Yeah, just kind of like step in, hey, real quick. I mean, you kind of have to. And everyone knows what's up. You know what I mean? Like, they know that that's not the best place to have a one-on-one conversation. I mean, like, it's there's a way to go about it. But I hear what you're saying. But yeah, no, I wish it would have been cool for you to meet Bridget. She's great. I think she's great.
Yep. Now, when I say I always do, it's not like I just like jump in and just like step in front of someone and out. But I always like, even if I just want to just say hi, if somebody's having a conversation, I'll just kind of put my hands on their shoulders and be like, hey guys, hey, just want to say hi real quick. Okay. And I'm out. And then I'll let them keep talking, and then they'll come find me later. So they just know that, you know, that I'm there. But so we did Sealy Seagulls, did Brad's, and did Coast to Coast with Portia and Malik Berger and them. And
the folks in the VO Life group, Des was there, Des Meese.
Oh yeah, how did that turn out?
Yeah, it was great. We had a dozen people maybe go to Waffle House, something like that. Yeah. We all piled in there on one poor waitress who was in there by herself, and we all piled in at one time, and it was a little slow. Yeah. I can't remember everybody's names.
Was she also the cook too, though?
But
no, there was one guy that was the cook. There was literally two employees.
And then Matt Hooks was there. He came. And Marcella.
Oh, that name sounds familiar.
I can't remember her last name. Now, the lady does the audiobooks. I can't pronounce her name, or I get it wrong. Yes.
She said call her Q, right?
She said call her Q. So she was there
from New Mexico.
And, we had a good time, and there were other people I met from the group that were there. There were some new people who just got in that were there. And you know, everybody had their time, but it's so hard, you know, even when you try to organize. I tried to organize a photo op for all podcasters. I was talking to Ann Ganguzzo on Friday night. She's like, I think that's a great idea. You know, what was so flattering moment. She goes, I want to get a picture with you. And she took a selfie with me. And I'm like, what? That made my week. But, she was like, yeah, let's do that maybe before the closing. And of course, we'll talk about that in a minute, that we woke up 15 minutes before it started.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But anyway,
you rush out of your room
5 o'clock in the morning. Alrighty.
Yeah. And the only thing, how I got out of there with everything that mattered is amazing. Because I mean, we were slamming stuff in suitcases, trying to hurry up and get downstairs, get the crap in the car. We'd already passed the checkout time, so we were late for checkout, which luckily they let us slide. But I came home and I can't find my Another VO podcast hoodie. Where's it at?
So I guess he called me and he's like, you got that? And I'm like, no.
I thought, well, maybe it got slung in Charles's stuff. And I said, if you got it, that's fine. Keep it. But I just wondered if it was still in the room.
Did you wear it at all?
Moving blanket. Yeah, I did. Yeah. I wore it. I tried to represent as much as I could.
Well, I know people recognize you from the Facebook group and from the VO Live. Did anyone say anything to you guys about this particular podcast?
Oh, there was a couple people that talked to me about the podcast.
Oh, nice.
They were like, yeah, and one of them was like, you're kind of new to the podcast, right? And I was like, yeah, I am.
That's awesome.
I'm the tag along. I'm the echo.
And I had somebody say that you guys do a pretty good job of 4 people not talking all over each other, because usually when there's that many people, there's so much interaction going on. You're like, I can't take it anymore. Mm-hmm. They said, you guys do a pretty good job of going back and forth. So that was a nice compliment.
Being annoying. Yeah. That's good though. I'm glad that's how they perceive it for sure.
Yeah, I'm glad we don't annoy people.
Yeah. Just each other, right?
Yeah.
So if you guys don't care, we'll close it out with our little MMA story, kind of.
Yeah. Well, okay. Preface the scenario. Lay this scenario out for everyone, as to how we got here.
Okay. Yeah. All right, so
there were 2 fists of bourbon sitting on the counter.
So Troy and I were rooming together, and it was the first night there. We'd run around and done all the stuff downstairs, and we're like, well, let's go up to the room. We'll have a nightcap, and we'll just kind of talk about the day and what we're going to do the next day and whatever. And it was probably like midnight by the time we got to sleep, I think. Well, Troy falls asleep first. And so it's Thursday, so the new episode of Halo Season 2 came out. So I'm like, I'm going to watch this because I'm never going to get to watch it any other time. So I'm watching it. And as I'm watching it, I'm laying on my side watching this with my headphones in, and I fall asleep. And what I get woken up to at like 3 a.m. is, who the hell are you? We're going to use hell in place of the other expletive. Who the hell are you? And I was kind of like cracking my eye open and be like, what? Because I kind of got woken up. And then, bow, I get hit on the head. And I hear, who the hell are you? And it was that the tone of voice was like protection and also like fear of like I need to take care of, like, I'm scared of this situation. I need to act on it. And I was like, Troy, hey. And then he kind of like shook his head and was like, whoa. And he's like, man, I'm sorry about that. As I'm rubbing my face, because he like opened a hand, slapped me on the head in my bed. And so like, I know that well, I hope it wasn't on purpose. No, I know that it wasn't on purpose. So then it was just funny.
The first thing out of my mouth was, did I really just smack you?
Yeah. And I'm like, awesome. Yeah. And then I was like, and I rubbed my head and I was like, well, I know you didn't punch me because I could feel the welt lines from your fingers. You know, like when you smack somebody real hard and you can see like the welt lines on their face. Yeah. Right on my head, on the side of my head. And then it was just hilarious to me. And then I just started cracking jokes, and Troy about had a stroke because he was like barely breathing because he was laughing so hard. And I was saying stuff like, all right, well, good night, Troy. I'm going to be sleeping over here in the fetal position in my bed. Laying here in fear between the bed and the wall, and I'm going to put the suitcase on top of me. And I just kept ripping him off. I was like, all right, Troy, if you need to use the bathroom in the middle of the night, just knock, because then I'll go ahead and unlock the door because I'm going to be sleeping in the tub with my pillow and blanket in there. And then I was like, well, I'm going to go ahead and make a sign here and put it above my head on the headboard that says, hello, my name's Charles Herbert Coates II, and I'm your roommate. Please don't attack me. But that was, I would have to say that is the most interesting way that I've ever been woken up in a hotel room ever.
Yeah. So the moral of the story is, if you're coming to VO Atlanta and Charles isn't, I need a new roommate. I'm ready.
The next podcast is gonna be how to vet your roommate when you go to.
We were telling somebody, and they went off in the WWE thing, like, going to lay the smackdown on your brother.
No, but we told that to you told that to Paul Schmidt, you told that to Mark Ryder, and Ryder was like, bullshit. No,
he's like, you're freaking lying.
Really?
You're making that crap up.
Yeah.
I said, no, man, I would not.
So then the funny part is, like, there's random people coming up to me and they're like, hey, man, you need some Excedrin? And like, I'm like, huh? And then Paul Schmidt came up and he's like, hey, how's that forehead doing? And I was like, oh, man. Yeah, but it was definitely one for the storybooks. Yeah.
A little embarrassing, but we tried to make the best of it. Get a little publicity. You know, they say there's no bad publicity, so we just
except when it comes to the concussion. No.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing. I just felt so bad about it. And I thought, well, heck, I mean, I wasn't in control. And of course, first thing I do is call my wife. Have I ever done anything like that? She's like, no. I've heard you talk in your sleep, but not that. And I said, well, I've done it
She's
now.
She's like, why do you think I keep a revolver next to the
I've done it now, so be careful.
Yeah.
Be careful.
But yeah,
well,
overall,
guys,
it was a really great experience. And
if you haven't been, go. If you're in this for a living, try to go. I mean, it'll
at least
come out of there with a cool interest. It's just such a thing.
Try to go to one of these eventually.
It's worth it.
Yeah,
definitely worth it.
Well, guys,
we could even do a podcast from the room one night. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, Kevin does that. Kevin and Bobby do that.
Yeah,
it would be cool to do a
every year.
podcast from one of these things. We might talk. Hey, we might talk about doing one on during One Voice, because we'll all be in town.
We can do that.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, so I supposedly am coming as a presenter. You don't know until you get there.
You're coming.
But I'm just saying, if we do, we'll have a hotel room, and we can. And after watching Karin Gilfrey's How to Use Your Sennheiser Box to Bring All Your Gear to an Event, I'm going to do that from now on.
Oh, really? I got to see.
Yeah,
that.
she just took her Sennheiser box, took all her stuff out of it, used her foam thing, slid over the mic, put the mic in there, put her little Focusrite in there, and put her cables in there, and close the box. And that's all you need.
That little black box?
Yeah, that's all you need.
Really?
And she's right. She said that thing is built to take a beating, so you don't have to worry about it getting bounced around a little in the box. So
there you go.
Yeah, maybe I can get my Surface Pro fixed by then, and we'll be good.
Nice. Well, guys, thanks for hopping on here, and thanks for talking about the conference. I'm sure people will enjoy hearing some of these anecdotes, and especially that last one. So
Free Tylenol if you room with me.
There you go. Bring Tylenol. Well, sweet, dude, guys. I guess we'll just end it here, and we'll see you next week. And hopefully, Alden will be back with us, feeling good, and we'll bring more VO-related information to you.
Feel better, Alden. We'll see you next time.
Feel better, buddy.
Take care.
See y'all. Have a good
See ya.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of It's Another VO Podcast. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. You can also email us your questions to anothervopodcast@gmail.com or follow us on Instagram at Another VO Podcast. See you next time.